All right, what's up, y'all? I did my response to Uncle Booker Tom. Now I'm going to respond to a guy I really don't know, but he calls himself the Brad Rules, or what I'm going to call him, the Cracker Rules, because that's what he sounded like in this video, which I'm going to play, and I'm going to respond to his, his white comments. So here we go. Also, by the way, wasn't this the guy who was on Duck Dynasty?
So, at the request of Sergio Flores, I am doing this video. And I have to do it for myself as well, because this is ridiculous. I mean, this guy, Jordan Myles, I don't even know who this is. I'm pretty sure that most people, before this story broke, didn't even know who this guy was. I think it's pretty safe to say, and if you're one of those people saying he's a big star and all that, you're lying. You're simply lying. Now, I saw something about this last night, about some controversy with Jordan Myles, but, I went to sleep, and, I wake up, and then I see a What Culture video, and I'm like, well, if What Culture is talking about this, then obviously it's something, that.
Well, speaking of ridiculous, it's that beard that looks ridiculous, and if you went to sleep, you sleep in that thing?
Needs to be addressed, and they're going to be crying over something because, lo and behold, it has to do with racism. So if it has to do with something like that, and it's What Culture, you gotta pretty much. It's a safe bet. It's a fair wager that they are going to probably be siding with the party that is not management, that is not the WWE, because that's how What Culture works. That's how a lot of these people on YouTube and the YWC and the IWC act, JD included, many others. And I am always a critic of WWE, obviously, but when it doesn't call for criticism, to be fair and balanced and have an honest opinion here on YouTube, when you need to defend the company, because there's going to be times when the company is right and the employee is wrong sometimes, because sometimes they break the rules. They know that the company has a lot of money. Some people could be looking for a lawsuit. There's a lot of different things that go on, not just in wrestling, but society in general, and you know that. But if you're going to be one of these, one-sided Sallies, and you're just going to be, anti-big corporation without, any way or any, deviation in your mind from that one tunnel vision mindset, then that's not fair and balanced. And you're not being honest, with yourself or with anyone else for that matter. So this guy, Jason Myles, this NXT superstar.
Wow, you even got the name wrong right there. It's Jordan Myles, not Jason Myles, dummy. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of one-sided Sallies, well, let me tell you something there, Brad. White America has always been one-sided. Or I'm gonna say this. America has always been white-sided. You get what I mean? Historically, and even in the present day. So when you talk about something being honest with yourself, white America has never been honest. We find the facts in history books of what happened, and even now. So, cause see, look, this goes beyond wrestling. This is just another notch in the racism cycle in a big corporation, all big corporations. You ought to know, by common knowledge, the McMahons are a racist family. Yes, they're rich, but they're, rich and racist. Hey, I can start a YouTube show called "Lifestyles of the Rich and Racist," and the first person I will cover is Vince McMahon. Now, just looking at you and listening at you, you look like one of them, backwoods hillbilly, Duck Dynasty looking motherfuckers, who, like I said, it seems like when people say, "Oh, we're pulling the race card," "Oh, here we go with this bullshit racism, hiding behind racism," to me, that's just another sugarcoating excuse to hide the issue that the shirt, the mentality behind the shirt, and the people who designed the shirt, it was a racist jab. That's just what it was. They can deny it and say it wasn't all they want. And I don't believe Jordan approved shit. I believe he approved a design that he saw, but they went and changed it behind his back. Kind of like Vince does with the scripts all the time for the most part on the shows. People write the scripts and he's got to tear the shit up and start all over and start all over again. So this bullshit about about it's not racism. Racism is bullshit today. No, it's not bullshit. And we weren't looking for it. It's right there. It's always been there, and it's still there, and it's going to stay there. See, that's what you need to realize. But you being, on that side, being of the Caucasian persuasion, you'll never understand that, and no white person ever will. Very few do. A select few do. A select few who are educated bear witness to truth. But the majority of people like you, of what you're saying, never will understand that.
Is claiming that a shirt is racist. Now, of course, if the shirt was truly racist, I can see why that might be a thing, but...
Wow, Brad, the shirt was racist. And you couldn't see shit of how it could be a thing, and it was a thing. Like I said, people like you, white people like you, see what you want to see.
To further elaborate, me just using words is not enough. We have to delve deeper. We have to address the topic at hand. We have to, show examples. And that's what we do here on this channel, right? Once I got a better computer, that was. So, now we're going to take a look here. And thank you, Wrestling Inc. I'm going to be showing some of your content here. So, Jordan Myles, Blast WWE and ROH, says WWE doesn't care about black people. Okay, so...
Got a little tip for you, Brad. WWE doesn't care about black people. WWE doesn't care about white people. WWE only cares about the almighty dollar and how much the fans can line their pockets, and how good the wrestlers are who can help the fans help line his pockets. That's all they care about. That's all Vince McMahon has ever cared about is money. Money and people aren't the same thing. Money is paper thin. People are human. So in the faster you can see that, if you open up and free your mind and your ass will follow, maybe you might learn something. You need to people like you need to open your eyes and look at the bigger picture when it comes to corporations and people like the McMahons, people like Triple Bitch, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I don't know if this guy's worked for ROH. I don't think that he has. But, you work for the WWE now. You're in their developmental territory. You work for them. You are WWE. So it doesn't matter what ROH does, but you're going to go against ROH anyway. Anyway, let's see what I could show you guys. So let's go down to the shirt first. So this is the shirt that's in question here. Now, I know most people would probably want me to say that, this looks extremely racist and horrible, but it honestly does not. And, Sergio Flores showed me like an example online of a van symbol. that had the same red background with the white lettering and the black shirt, and you know, I many people were saying that they don't see it, but I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I saw it. At first, I was looking at it, I was like, it just looks like one of the worst shirts they've ever released. And then, I kind of really thought about it, and I was like, hold on a second here. Let's take a closer look at it. If I were like, a member of the What Culture staff, if I were someone, who got offended by everything, if I was injected with nearly lethal amounts of soy, then I would probably, be able to see what it is, and I did, and I saw what it was. It's a black shirt, with red. What's red? Lips, and that's what people are looking at. And I don't really need to say more. I'm not going to say more because I'm not going to get in trouble here.
Wow. What the fuck are you going to get in trouble more? And you're right. You don't need to say more. You actually don't need to say shit. And you haven't said shit. Because all that's coming out of your mouth is bullshit. That shirt, I don't know what you see, but I know what I see. And the obvious racist jab, the symbolism of that shirt, especially the smiling Jordan Myles, which looked like smiling teeth and the red lips. It could have been a white shirt, and I would still see the same thing. And just the way you talk, it's like you start, pause. You don't even sound intelligent. And and you talk about elaborate on something. You need to elaborate on that face of yours.
But needless to say, this guy is losing his mind. Jordan Myles is losing his mind.
Wrong. He's not losing shit. He's not losing his mind. He was angry. He was emotional. Look it up. Black people have always gotten angry and emotional when it comes to racism. Malcolm X was emotional and angry, but he became intelligent, and he channeled that anger in his words. You should try it. Emotional and angry is what makes individuals people different. It's their right it's their right. Emotional and angry is their right to express themselves. Jordan Myles had the right to be angry. I'd have been pissed too.
Over this, and you could see what he's saying right here. I will keep posting this till my voice is heard. I'm not sorry for anything I say or do. Well, that's that attitude right there. Representation is important. If this is Vince McMahon and Triple H's vision of me, then this is a slap in the face to every African American performer, fan, and supporter. And I'm sorry, but I am not buying this for several reasons. And let's see if I can find it here. There was an email where Jordan...
You're not buying this. Obviously. You shouldn't have bought that hat. You shouldn't have bought that ugly hat you're wearing. Technically, you shouldn't have bought a computer. You shouldn't have started a YouTube channel. I'm not buying this. Sounds just like a southern redneck cracker would say. I'm not buying this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if the roles were reversed in some way, you might buy it then, or if it was a totally different political issue, you're not buying this. See, like I said, people like you will never mentally see the bigger picture behind that, because you come from the other side. You come from the enemy race, as I like to call it in a lot of ways. I'm not saying all of them are enemies, but you come from the race that was born with this supremacist mentality that white is right, white is pure, and everything else of color is ugly and bad. And secondary or beneath the almighty, the almighty white master. But hey, let's continue.
Jordan says, "Don't believe me? Email him and ask him yourself." So see, right here we've got Landon Baker at the WWE Corporation. "Hey Albert, Triple H attended a meeting and had a revision for your logo, but loved it for your character. He wanted to the letter to be more teethy, and what I have attached is what he liked. Also have basic t-shirts on there that he approved as well. Road Dogg preferred the gray, but let us know what you think. Thanks, Baker." There's something very weird about this email. And I'm not just saying that because I don't want to believe the guy and because I want to believe an opposing narrative. It's not. But I don't know, even what I was just reading there, he wanted to the letter. See, there's a typo there. And, if this is written by an exec, okay, sometimes things like that slip through the cracks. But I don't know. There's something.
I don't know. You don't know shit. And certain things slip through the cracks. In this case, Brad, racial ignorance slipped through the cracks. The email says more teethy. Now, why has it got to be more teethy? Who the fuck came up with the concept of more teethy? Do black people have nice white teeth when they smile because they have dark skin, and smiling with their nice white teeth, it just makes them look funny, almost like I guess you say like a reversal of clown makeup? Come on, man. I don't know. Can't you hear how stupid you sound?
There, and to say that it's teethy in this email right here, so he knew what it was going to look like after the redesign, and it's September 11th.
Right there, teethy. Shouldn't that be the smoking gun? I mean, teethy just sounds fucking ridiculous, but this is worldwide entertainment. And it doesn't matter what date it was. They told him one thing or showed him one thing. He might have said yes. They did something else without his approval, without his knowledge. That's the facts.
This is almost like a month and a half ago. So why did we not hear him? Why didn't he post this then on Twitter?
Because the fucking design wasn't probably done yet, jackass. They to design a t-shirt and to properly design it takes time. Materials, employees working on it. Nobody designs a shirt and has it ready in one day. It's kind of like cars. When you're working on cars, auto mechanics, they have to keep it overnight. Or might have to keep it a week, or maybe 24 hours. Who knows? And sometimes if the job isn't that big, they just have to keep it a day, and you'll get it back at the end of the day or the next morning. Hey Brad, think a little bit. I mean, I know that's a hard concept to you people, but try it. Think a little bit. Read between the lines. See, that's what we do. We read between the lines.
What was stopping him from the final design? Or also, what is your email response? Why don't you show us the whole conversation? You know what I'm saying? People are probably going to read this, and I saw on Facebook, people are like, "Oh, this is the smoking gun. This is the one." This is the one piece of evidence that Jordan Myles means, to really bring this story to the forefront.
And I believe that email was a smoking gun. Probably because, Brad, the other parts of the emails or the other conversation was fucking irrelevant. You ever think of that? Some things aren't worth showing that are irrelevant. It's the issue that we're addressing.
And I say right here, by him posting this and nothing else, this shows that the guy is lying probably more than if he posted nothing. Because right here, the date says it all. If he was smart, he would have cut this off. But that, because then people probably wouldn't have even thought about the date.
The date doesn't matter. And if you were smart, you'd stop talking out the side of your ass. And this video should have been cut off.
But when I'm seeing the date, I'm thinking about that. Well, this is from a while ago. What has transpired in the whole entire month and a half that you've known about this shirt design? And I'm saying, and even looking at the shirt.
What transpired probably was, once again, like I said, they were still working on the shirt. Shirts aren't designed in one day, dummy.
Design, I am pretty sure that it's coincidental. And like I said, and plus, it is a stretch. It is definitely a stretch. I mean, let's take a look at it again. It's, when you look at it, it doesn't even really look like lips, really.
Oh, shit. Dude. Do you need glasses? The TV design, the way the smile just curves this way with the letters looking like teeth, it does look like lips. The red background represent the lips. Who the fuck is this guy? But I forgot. This is Cracker Duck Dynasty. They see what they want to see, or basically I believe, Brad, that you're subconsciously ignoring the issue. See, you need to walk in the mind of a black man. You need to see things through the eyes of a black man. Then you might know. Because think about it. Say this is a t-shirt making fun of somebody, a t-shirt with a really weird looking beard. And, maybe a hat like you're wearing, or some other kind of hat, like a hunting hat. Like some backwoods trailer park hick would wear. Not to say that you're a backwoods trailer park hick. Maybe you are. Maybe you could be. I don't know. You have that look. I mean, that beard just screams, hey there, bud, let's go hunting. Got my dog Spot with me, But anyway.
You really have to be thinking about it. And that's what I'm saying. I saw the shirt and I was like, okay, what does it look like? Because what culture shows the shirt right in their video? And I'm like, okay, what could it possibly be? And that's what I'm saying. Don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think I'm pretty good because I've seen so many of these stories over the years of how people think. So, you know what I'm saying? If I really had to go out there, and think like a total, Cucamonga, then that is probably where I would arrive. When you let your mind wander, that's what happens. So look.
No, we don't let our minds wander. Our educated minds tell us and we see. That's why we're thinking, because the symbol of the shirt is smacking us dead in the face. The design of the shirt is sending us that same message we've seen years and years. All they did was subliminally, blatantly use a shirt design to insult us. So see, no, we're thinking. Our thinking is what helps us, because when we're thinking, we read between the lines of what that shirt is showing us, of what any kind of symbol or design is showing us, and we pick up on it. Now, you people, or people like you, Brad, look at it and say, you don't see it. You don't see this. If I let my mind wander, I'd probably see it too. You know what, Brad? I'm pretty sure if your mind wanders, the first thing probably on your mind is, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe your 4-wheeler, riding through the country with your 4-wheeler. Maybe taking the guns out. For some range shooting. I don't know. See, so I kind of know how backwoods people think. Not saying that you're one, but you have that look.
Jordan Myles. Now, I know I said that this guy is losing his mind, but that is an understatement. Look how this guy he's on a tirade here. Look what else he says. He goes, FROH2, the only allowed, he means the only allowed one African American guy to be the top guy, while guys like Cedric Alexander and Malcolm Velli and myself had to chase this invisible carrot, a stick. See, that's why I'm wondering, did he somehow doctor that email? Because look how many typos he's making. Name another African American who has reached great heights there other than this Uncle Tom. And what does that say about Jay Lethal? First of all, does he even know Jay Lethal?
Well, I think he's a wrestler. He probably crossed paths with Jay Lethal once or twice, since he's a wrestler and you're not. He probably knows things about Jay Lethal that the so-called wrestling fans don't know. And if he knows Jay Lethal is known to be a good houseboy, like Uncle Booker Tom, then he has the right to say he's an Uncle Tom. He probably knows Jay Lethal. You don't know shit. All you know is you elaborating on something that you don't believe that he believes. That's what makes this country. See, he believes and saw something because it's his shirt. He's the wrestling star that they designed a shirt on. They didn't design a shirt for you, Brad Rules, but I'm pretty sure you have a merch and a Patreon on your channel. And if anybody out there watching this video or smart, don't give a dime of your money to this guy. But hey, to each his own. But no, he probably knows things about Jay Lethal, probably more than you. Like I said, no, he's in the wrestling business. He knows these people. See, us fans don't know him. We just know what we see. We see him cut a promo. We see him in the ring or wrestling. They can tell us and make us believe anything they want us to believe because they want us to believe an image of them. They want us to invest. They want us to mentally and physically invest in an image or a message that they have to say, not knowing what type of person the son of a bitch really is. Hulk Hogan is a good example, but we found out what kind of son of a bitch he really is since he used the N-word in that video, sleeping with his best friend's wife, which is a no-no, and then he's still out there preaching that bullshit, train and say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and believe in yourself, brother, calling everybody brother. Please. That bullshit is as bad as Vince Russo, who calls everybody bro at the end of almost every sentence. He uses bro every goddamn 5 seconds. But like I said, Brad, I don't know what you're smoking or what you're drinking. I have a good idea. Looking at you, you might drink moonshine for all we know, or you might make and sell moonshine. I don't know. But anyway. And continuing.
Look what he's saying about him. Look at the horrible name he just called this guy. I mean, I hope he at least knows him. Maybe that makes...
Look at the name he called him. I hope he knows this guy. Brad. Jordan's a wrestler. Jay Lethal's a wrestler. I think Jordan wrestled in Ring of Honor. Of course he knows him. What the hell do you think? When wrestlers work together in a promotion, they're going to get to know each other in some way, shape, or form. They may not be friends, of course, but they probably will have to work a program together. And if they don't like each other, they have to be professional and get along. So, but like I said, Jordan might be the kind of educated black man who's seen other black men, Jay Lethal, etc., kiss ass to the man, begging for a seat at the man's table to eat off his table. See, and that's what a lot of them do. It's kind of like the butler. Booker T obviously is a butler. He's been in WWE. He's the only black man been in WWE over 10 years, and that's unheard of. Because personally, I can see Titus O'Neil getting released in some way, shape, or form. Of course, he might come back and be in the same position as Booker T, maybe 4 or 5 years down the road. Producer or whatever. But he's still willing to come back to serve his slave master.
Makes it even worse. But I mean, why do they have to have like dozens and dozens of African American champions to prove a point? And plus,
well, it's not about having dozens of African Americans. It means African Americans should be allowed to be champion as much as the white wrestlers. You ever think about that, Brad? See, but of course, I see the jealousy. Blacks have dominated almost every sport: football, basketball, baseball. The list goes on and on. I mean, we've dominated sport. We've dominated sports so long. White America had to use a Hollywood studio to create a white boxing champion on the screen. Yeah, that's right. And see, wrestling, a fake sport, is the last bullshit that you have. So basically, that's why you want to keep it as white as possible. Now, I'll give WWE props for letting Kofi Kingston hold the title for 6 months. That's probably the longest a black man has ever held a world championship belt in wrestling. Ron Simmons, I think, had maybe a month in WCW years ago when they were promoting the first black man, at the time at the gimmick. But, like I said, he didn't keep it long. Junkyard Dog, great as he was, he was never going to be champion because Hulk Hogan was Vince's cash cow. 4 years as champion because of the image. The movie parts, endorsements, commercials, Saturday morning cartoon, and of course the merch. So see, Brad, right there, the great white hype always made the money, and while the black wrestler, either he was secondary or almost like I said, JYD was a babyface basically his whole career at the time, and he was one of the few black wrestlers that was probably other than Tony Atlas that was popular in WWF at the time. Of course, like I said, I was small, but Rocky Johnson was there too, but he was in the 70s. I wasn't old enough to see him, So the first black wrestler I saw, like I said, was Tony Atlas. Then I saw Bobcat Ernie Ladd, and of course JYD. Great wrestlers, but none of them were champions. Well, Rocky Johnson, he was a tag team champion. But anyway, let's continue.
Your credibility of seeing you just go absolutely crazy about a t-shirt. And look at this. Then he goes, protest by turning your photos black and white on Twitter. He's starting a movement. And what is this guy showing here? I gotta take a look at this. Did we win? Search results for Jordan Myles. I don't know if the shirt's still on there. I mean, let's take a look. Let's see. Is the shirt still on there? We're about to find out. Jordan Myles. Yeah, I guess the shirt's not on there, so I guess that they did win. So I don't even know what is now, my brother. What was this? Well, how didn't they win if it's not even on there? I don't even understand that. So they did take it down because, of course, WWE doesn't want to catch the flack. And I've used this shirt as fuel.
Oh, too late for that. The flack's already there. They caught the flack, and they're going to catch a lot more.
I knew the shirt existed, and my soul hasn't been able to rest properly since I've laid eyes on it. My voice will be heard. So what is this? David Bixon wrote, so I missed this a month ago, but from a little quick research, they released and then will replace the problematic design last month. Did you not know about this until now? like, this is also, like, this is basically what I'm saying. How did he not know about this when he's showing that he was sent an email about it and he already saw the design and he's only crying about it now?
He didn't see that design, jackass. He saw a different design. They showed him a different design. He approved it. He approved what he liked, but they changed it. That's what happened.
And look at these other tweets here. The whole WWE system is fraud. They created this system where you can't trust anyone. You grow cold and you grow apart from what you love the most. The fact that Hulk Hogan is still employed after giving the locker room an apology for being caught says enough for the culture. Oh my God, this guy is like losing his ever-loving mind.
Look who's talking. He is not nowhere near losing his mind. He is basically preaching to the choir. He is preaching the truth. And here's another thing you should know about Terry Bollea, Brad. Remember, sex tape. He used the N-word. Of course, he was fired. But through the course of time of him apologizing everywhere, trying to get back into good graces, they let him back in. And he apologizes to the locker room. And here's something else, Brad, I'm going to tell you right here, which I told Hogan on Twitter. The son of a bitch isn't sorry he said it. He's sorry he got caught. Now, you let that marinate for a while.
When I originally saw the design, I was uncomfortable. Rather than addressing the issue, they decided to counter offer with another. Baker Landon lied to my face. He said Triple H wanted this design, so my hands were tied. I spoke with Triple H in person, and his impression was I approve. So, is it true? Go Myles approved the t-shirt he objects to. Any response from Myles on this new info? So, it's like... See,
it's like, see, he said Triple H's impression was he thought Jordan approved. He did not approve. So everybody out there saying that he approved this shirt, they're full of shit. I'm a correction. They're full of honky shit.
Oh, and Myles like also deleted it. Like, okay, so we've seen just about everything here. And with that said, we need to come full circle here for a moment because, wow. Like, we've just seen a guy just forget about the Becky Lynch video from before. I mean, go watch it if you haven't already. But, that is small potatoes. Small potatoes compared to this. I mean, I don't even know who this guy is, but he is just a complete whack job.
Wow, look who's talking. And speaking of small potatoes, when you talk, you sound like you have the IQ of a small potato. Better yet, you have the IQ of a pork and bean. And you say you don't know who this guy is? Let me tell you who that guy is. He's a young, strong black man. But we know who you are, and just by the way you talk, we know who you are, what you are, and basically you and that's what you come across as. And you talk about and you calling somebody a whack job with a face like that, looking like that. I look in the mirror before you call somebody a whack job, buddy.
I mean, this is the company you work for, and I understand, if you don't like your shirt, but
you don't understand shit.
Let's put this in the context here. You were alerted about the shirt. If you're that outspoken, like you're showing here on Twitter.
Wrong. He wasn't alerted about the shirt. He was showing a design that he approved. Then they changed it. That's what he was not alerted about. See, this is what WWE does. A lot of times, wrestling star or not, if you see if they're doing a design, whether it be your entrance theme or your a promo or a shirt or anything, and they show you something and you like it, but then they go and change it to something that they feel might be better, and and 9 times out of 10 you're not going to like it. That's what they do because they're WWE, like you said. He works for them, It's their way or it's the highway. Unless you're Undertaker or you're The Rock.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have released the shirt. I'm just saying, if you weren't for it, they probably wouldn't have released the shirt. It's not like they're really going to make a lot of money off of you anyway, because you're not really anybody. You're not, Tommaso Ciampa. You're not Johnny Gargano. You're not like any of these big names in NXT. So I don't really think it would have been a big deal, especially if you had some other ideas. And like, you think of the t-shirts that Triple H has like had himself that he probably approved, for himself, and they were like, there's some great t-shirts. So I don't really see that like such a basic design would be, if he had a better idea, I'm pretty sure they would have dropped that one for something different. So like, what did the original logo look like? But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying that if this guy was so outspoken, he probably would have gotten his way, because they've removed the shirt. So obviously, they were probably going to be willing to listen to him. Now you could also counter that argument and say, well, they probably didn't know that it was going to blow up like this on Twitter, so now he kind of didn't even give them a choice, because this is extremely bad PR when you start, going on a tirade on social media. You get it, you're exposing them, for something that they're really not. You're trying to make a story out of this, and
no, there was a story out of this, and he didn't make something out of nothing. He made something out of something that was obvious, and it was a smack, and it was a slap in the face. That design was obvious, and it was an obvious jab, dude. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Once again, WWE, the McMahons, are a racist organization. Yes, they call themselves family friendly. What they're really saying is, or what they really are, is they're white family friendly. And doing all these shows in these countries, Vince, doesn't help your case none. All you're after for is foreign currency. And I'm personally am shocked that you're taking currency from a terrorist country. But once again, that's on you. But that's another video I'm gonna get into later.
He knows what he's doing, because Jordan Myles knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that this is a very volatile time in society and on the internet, and that the minute you start with that word and you start using this terminology, it starts getting people's attention. And a lot of people like to cling to this stuff, and they take it to heart. And there's a lot of people in the the triggered culture and in the SJW culture that are really going to cling to this. They're going to retweet it. They're going to repost it on other social media platforms. They're going to talk about it in YouTube videos. And then you've got people like what culture? The wrestling fans, the ones that the product is currently catering to. They are going to make this more than what it is, because this is what they do, and they want to paint Vince McMahon as being some horrible racist person, and they've done this.
Dude, you need to wake the fuck up and get a clue. Vince McMahon has always been a racist, horrible person. You know how many wrestlers died on his watch, which he still hasn't really answered for, but he will soon. Because the minute he passes away, he ain't going to heaven. He is a horrible person through and through, to the core. He does not show that because he will not show that because the majority of his fans, like you, are brainwashed when you see him with that smile and you see him saying, yeah, we're a family show. We want to give the fans what they want. He's full of shit. He is a devil through and through, period. There are wrestlers who died working for him that should be alive, and he could have prevented that. And now, like I said, this Saudi Arabia incident after Crown Jewel, that's that's karma. That's also the thinking that's coming back on him too. Like I said, I'm gonna get into that in another video. But dude, like I said, you just look and sound like, like, oh, there's nothing to this. Everything's okay. Jordan's making something out of nothing and being outspoken and saying he knows what he's doing. No, he didn't do this for publicity. He didn't do this to make a name for himself. He did it because, like an educated black man like him, like me, and like others, he did it because he saw the bullshit WWE threw at him with that shirt. That shirt was a blatant symbol of disrespect, ignorance on their part. Every black man does like to smile, who's dark skinned, does like to smile and show their teeth. Every black man does like to be happy-go-lucky or dance or tap dance. In today's world, a black man, he will not scratch his head unless it itches, and he will not dance unless he hears some music. So you need to get a clue and go somewhere with that horse shit that's coming out your mouth, because that's what it sounds like. And trust me, Brad, everything you said in this video, your breath stinks to high heaven.
Numerous times they've tried to use the example for Booker T. Never mind the fact that he's paid these people a lot of money, giving them a tremendous amount of TV time, and made a lot of these guys look very strong. But because, there weren't enough champions and no one had won the WWE championship, and because The Rock wasn't fully African American, that wasn't enough for the hardcore fan base. So Kofi Kingston was given the title, and they kept the title on him a while despite the ratings falling. So this was Vince McMahon's decision. So he obviously, wanted to show the fans that he wasn't this way. And he would go so far as sacrificing his own TV show to prove that point.
Bullshit. He didn't sacrifice shit. And the fact that Kofi Kingston was a champ, even though he was a champion for 6 months, I think that's the same situation as when Barack Obama was president. It was time, it was marketing, and it was timing. And Kofi Kingston been there 11 years. Him and Kofi Kingston aren't friends. They had a altercation on a plane, and basically to punish them, that's where the New Day concept came from. The bright colors, the dancing, the cereal, the pancakes. Hey, look, for all we know, and this is what I believe too. In a way, I believe all three members of the New Day are nothing but Uncle Toms, and I'm thinking Kofi Kingston is probably the biggest Uncle Tom of the three. He probably just started kissing Vince McMahon's ass. He didn't have a choice. He likes the money. So, and you notice after he lost the title, he's never addressed it. Never talked about getting a rematch. Nothing. He just goes on like nothing happens. See, that's also a slap in the face to black wrestlers. It's like they told him don't address it and don't ignore it. It's like now he's going back to being the good dancing little houseboy that Vince McMahon likes. See, that's what I see. And I think you know what I'm talking about. But like I said, you being the Brad Rules and not knowing from the other point of view and not understanding the other point of view, you'll never understand that. And people like you will never understand historically how we feel and how angry this kind of shit makes us from back then till now, to this shirt and to everything else beyond. And there's going to be more incidents like this in the future. Maybe a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, who knows? Or there's going to be another black wrestler someday that's going to come to this company, looking to be a star. And whether it's a shirt, whether it's a storyline, or whether it's something, a promo of something that somebody said, some cracker somewhere is going to say something, and we're going to call them on it. And whether it's social media or whether I hope the wrestler calls them on it, like Jordan Myles called WWE on his damn shirt.
So you think he's going to turn around all those months later and do this? And if that's the intention, I'm sorry, this would have been a little bit too obvious if that's what they were going for. And like I said, it is such a stretch. It's such a stretch. And this guy, I mean, this guy is acting like a fool. He needs to shut up. I mean, obviously, you know, he probably realized, he probably was getting a lot of backlash from that tweet on Jay Lethal, I could imagine. But, like, God, like, I think out of everything that he tweeted, what he said about Jay Lethal was like, oh my God. Like,
no, that wasn't backlash. I would call that white lash. Let's call a spade a spade. I'd call that a white lash. And he's not a fool. Like I said, he's a strong-minded brother. Now, you sound and look like a fool. I mean, you know, look at this guy's face. Is this the guy that you would trust to take your daughter out on a date? Would you trust him? Would you trust him going on a road trip? Think about it.
Like, wow. Once you start dipping into that, like, dark terminology right there, and I mean, that right there was pretty dark, what he said. And, you know, you like, instantly, any credibility on any sort of movement that he had, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of goofballs turning their pictures black and white, and, you know, they're going to have, you know, pitchforks and torches at Vince McMahon's doorstep, figuratively, you know, but...
Well, here's the thing, jackass. Several other wrestling stars have tweeted their pictures black and white. Are you calling them goofballs? Yeah, Nyla Rose was one of them, and Sonny Kiss also, who works for All Elite Wrestling. That's right, a wrestler from a different company is supporting him. Take a look at that. I don't hear you. I don't hear you talking about that because they're out there.
I mean, you know, what he said about Lethal, that is just, wow. Oh, God. But, I mean, guys, you know, you make your own judgment calls. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm just here to share my opinion on it, and I think it's BS. I think this is complete garbage. I think this is trash. I think that Jordan Myles is trying to accuse Vince McMahon, Triple H of being garbage human beings.
And they are. I mean, let's look at the son-in-law for a second. This is the same piece of shit who was dating one woman, but then started fucking the boss's daughter behind her back. The boss's daughter went after this motherfucker behind her back, and they were probably all friends at one point. And then when her contract came up, she got the boss's daughter went to daddy and told her don't renew it. They got married, had 3 spoiled brats. While China's life spiraled out of control, and she went into a downward spiral right to her grave, mainly because of these two. They contributed to her death. So, hey Brad, check that story out. And also Vince McMahon, even when he was college, people said that he in college he was a prick, he was a bully. So, yeah, once again, the McMahons are a racist family. WWE is a racist organization. Period. You know, try to do a little research and reading instead of, you know, this white ignorance that you're spitting out here.
May I counter that point by saying that one Jordan Myles is the horrible individual. Because it's so funny that he's trying to do the victimized, you know, oh poor me routine. And it's quite apparent that this guy went a little bit too far with it. He felt, you know, he kept on tweeting. He kept on tweeting to the point where it got to the point where he showed his true side. That it's so obvious what he's trying to do. That
you don't know a goddamn thing what he's trying to do. And if you open your mind and if you open your mind and took a good look, you would see what he's trying to do. But like I said, you have no clue and no idea how he feels or how black people feel when it comes to these issues. All you know is what you see and what you think. And like I said, your opinion is so one-sided. You sound like a white college professor teaching that one-sided colonial slave history. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you probably believe Christopher Columbus discovered America. And nope, he didn't. I don't know where you came from. you know, but you don't need a YouTube channel. You need a good education. But I don't think somebody like you would do too well in a real social issue type class with a diverse group of people. Different ethnic backgrounds. I don't think you would do very well, because you don't seem to comprehend the real issue of what's what I'm looking for. Okay, the real issue of socialism as well as ethnic socialism.
He's not a good person. He is trying to make something that wasn't there to begin with.
No, he made something that was obviously there right from the get-go. It was there. It smacked it right in the face. And you say, "Nah, I believe Jordan Myles is a good person." No, it's Vince. It's Vince and his family who aren't good people. That's what you need to understand. That's what you need to see. See, Vince McMahon, he's the rich billionaire. Jordan Myles is just a working man trying to come up. And same bullshit, always holding back, or trying to hold him down, or trying to stereotype him in this bullshit colored image
Into something, and he's turning it into an opportunity. Probably because he knows that in this oversaturated, wrestling world where there's, Dynamite, there's NXT, there's Raw, there's SmackDown, there's NWA Power, that there's so many different wrestlers going all different ways, and he's going to get lost in the shuffle. A guy like Jordan Myles would be, like one of the first people to get lost in the shuffle, compared to everyone else that's in NXT and everyone else on the roster. There's no way a guy like that would make it onto the main roster. And this guy's, he kind of led himself into a mental breakdown, it seems. And I'm also hearing that WWE is contemplating. I heard a rumor that they're contemplating on releasing him. And I know if they release him, it is going to cause an even bigger scene. But I say that they do it. They should show a no tolerance policy to this. I will be happy if they do release him, because after actions like this, I just don't see it. He's talking really bad about the employer that's giving him this opportunity. I know people are going to say, well, he shouldn't keep his mouth shut because that's how things like this happen. But there's nothing there.
Wrong there, cracker. There's plenty there. I mean, you just talking sound like the typical blue-eyed devil that are you trying to cover it up? I mean, you are just sugarcoating it to the hilt. There's nothing there. No, there's something there. Trust me. It's not him trying to play on the opportunity. He's not trying to play on nothing. And look, if he were to get released, it would be a blessing in disguise. And some employers aren't worth working for when you know how they think. And if they're racist like this, I don't care how much money he's paying me. It's not worth my conscience. Which I'm pretty sure, Brad, is something you don't have. Because if you did, you'd open your heart and mind and see the bigger picture.
So that's what people need to understand. And WWE needs to put their foot down, and they have to stop this, there's a possibility that this might happen. For a company that used to create so much controversy and water cooler talk, if they keep this guy on the payroll, I think that philosophy that they had during the Attitude and the Ruthless Aggression era, I think is forever gone. I mean, I still think it is forever gone, but it's even further gone if they keep this guy in place just so they don't look bad. God forbid if they give the guy a title or bring him onto the main roster.
Make them look bad? Hey there, Brad. Let me tell you something. They've looked bad for the last 20 years. I don't care how much you glamour it up. I don't care how many stages they change, or from season to season, they change the theme song and they spend this money. I don't care if they go overseas. You can't glamour up garbage. I don't care. I don't care if it is WWE. They've been garbage for a long time, but garbage attracts flies. I mean, you seem to like them. I mean, say you don't have a problem with the shirt. You don't have a problem, You're thinking you think it's Jordan Myles who's in the wrong here? See, take a better look. Yeah, the employer and the employee. The employer is the one with the money. Yes, he designed the shirt, but he's still a racist. He's got a black wrestler that wants to be a star, he designed this shirt. TD, black T-shirt. TD. It would look the same if it was white T-shirt. TD with the red background. Come on, man. Even if it didn't blow up on social media, I would have seen through that bullshit. I'd have seen that. The minute I saw it, that's what I saw. That was too obvious. That was more obvious than Stephanie McMahon without panties. And we know because we know how obvious she was when she went after her triple bitch. You know what I mean?
Imagine if they bring him on the main roster just to bury him. I don't know. I just think it would be a wise move to cut ties with this guy. Whatever they need to do. Anyway, this is like the most insane thing that I've seen. Coming from a WWE talent in quite some time. I mean, we're talking about cringy tweets and stuff like that to JR. I mean, this guy is like saying certain things that are just abominable, to say the least. They're volatile. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that the shirt, holds those types of connotations? Do you think that Jordan Myles has a valid claim here? Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.
Well, I won't see you next time. This is the first video I watched by him, and it's going to be the last. Because if you're smart, don't subscribe. But like I said, if you have that mentality and you think that way, hey, by all means. I'm going to say this to Brad in closing. In closing, you, sir, I think don't have, I guess you don't have the mental capability to understand of what it means to be a black man in society today, as well as back then. There's plenty I could say, but I'm not gonna spend that much time on this guy. Like I said, I think I said everything I've had to say in retort to everything he said in his video. But like I said, a person like him and white people like him will never understand how black people feel when we see certain things that we feel basically disrespect us, not as a wrestler or a performer or whatever, just as a black human being, or a black man or a black woman in general, a black human being in the real world. That's what I'm talking about. So, hey Brad, like I say, it's probably not in you, but if you read some Black history books, and so you might learn something, and you might see where Jordan Myles is coming from, because he has a very valid point. What Vince McMahon and them did, the design of that shirt, what they did, no, it was wrong, and they've done this kind of shit before in different ways, probably. The black wrestler. Let me ask you this, Brad. Why was he called the Junkyard Dog? Now, he was a good wrestler. He shouldn't have been called a dog. He's not a dog. He's a human being. I mean, yeah, it was a funny gimmick, the thump and the chain and everything, but he wasn't a dog. But see, back in the days of slavery, a lot of slaves were in chains, not just around the neck, but around the ankles too. So see, I have a problem with that. As much as I love the junkyard dog. Even at one time when I was small, I wanted to buy his T-shirt. My parents said, "Why would you want a T-shirt with just saying a junkyard dog?" And I was like, I don't know. And I was a kid, but I never got it. But now looking back, I understand why they said that. See, junkyard dog. His gimmick was that of a stray dog that probably has no home, probably an ugly dog, probably poor, not clean, and he walks around and hangs and probably eats scraps from a junkyard. So see, I just think about it. See, back then, Vince McMahon was racist back then because he probably thought he probably had a mentality that black people, like I say, were dirt, were gutter. So he got a black wrestler and named him the Junkyard Dog. So that's what I'm talking about. See, unlike you, I read between the fucking lines of what these people symbolize, whether it's a shirt or whether it's a gimmick. I read between the lines, and that's what you don't do. See, you want to sugarcoat and cover it up, and the powers that be, like the government and Vince and rich organizations like Vince's, they cover shit up. They know what they're doing and they know what they're saying, but this is how they look at black people: second class and beneath them. But I've said all I'm gonna say to you. If you see this video and you make a retort, hey, by any means, I'll fire back as well. But like I said, I'm just telling you what I think of you and what you said. Like I said, I think what you're saying, that's a bunch of horse shit. But like I said, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm out. Peace.